For today's 6-minute makeover, we're looking at Libby and Lou. This seller got in touch with me because she's getting favorites like crazy, but she can't turn those favorites into sales. So what gives? And she's really having trouble figuring out how you turn those people who like your items into people who want to buy your items. So Libby and Lou sells all kinds of things from tank tops, t-shirts, maternity, tote bags, mugs, home decor. What I want to have a look at is how you can compare yourself to your competition to figure out why they're making sales and you're not, because this is very specific to what you're selling, and something that might work for a tank top seller might not work for a mug seller. The other thing you need to keep in mind if you want to go ahead and do this exercise for your own shop is that certain items just aren't going to sell during certain times of the year. So if your entire shop is made up of mugs and it's the middle of summer, the likelihood that those mugs are going to sell is low because mugs are usually designed to hold a hot drink, and people usually drink hot drinks when it's cold out, but it's not cold out in the summer. So the likelihood that mugs are going to sell this time of year is low unless it's a special type of mug or a mug that's specifically designed for warm weather, like a clear plastic water bottle or something similar. So when you do this, make sure that you're doing this exercise for items that sell during this time of the year. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at tank tops because these sell. It's summer right now, and I'm going to do this exercise specifically for the tank tops in her shop. If you're following along with me, feel free to pick a category that you are selling right now that sells during this season that we're in currently, and you can try to do this research for yourself as well. So first things first, if you don't have a lot of a certain item in your shop, don't expect it to sell. On Etsy, if I have a look at the category of tank tops, there are over 338,000 results. That is a lot. In her case, since she's only selling 6 tank tops, she works out to be something like 0.000002% of the total tank tops on Etsy. So statistically speaking, the likelihood that she is going to get found for one of these items is low. Since it's summer, if she wanted to up her sales, one of the wise things she could do is add more of these seasonal items and add lots of them. If you're trying to make more sales and you have a mix of seasonal items like she does, focus on the season it is now and just choose the item that sells during this time of year and go nuts, making as much of it as you can. But remember, it still needs to be quality. Now, before you start adding more of an item, make sure that your items are going to be able to compete with the other items that are out there. So we already had a look in Etsy search for tank tops. I actually went through and chose some of the top tank top sellers on Etsy so we can look at what they're doing that our seller isn't. So she can ensure all future tank tops she adds are way more likely to sell. So let's take a look at one of her items just to get a feel for what's going on here. For this shirt, she is basically giving multiple color options. Now, one of the issues with this on my current screen, I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a little bit of trouble reading what these colors actually are. And while giving colors fun names is great, the reality of it is I'd rather just select red, gray, fuchsia, purple, green. It doesn't need to be fancy. When I pull these down, all the colors that are available are not necessarily here. And since I can't really read all the things, I can't tell what's what. I'm seeing this color here, but I'm not seeing it over here. So if you have this issue in your shop, make it hyper clear. Customers, if they see a color they want and they can't figure out how to buy it, they will move on to another shop. It's so important when you're selling something online that every step of the process is super duper easy and clear for the customer. It will foster more sales faster, and your customers will love you for it. Next, she has a picture showing what somebody looks like in this item. And finally, she has her size options. So let's actually take a look at one of her competitors and see what they're doing. This is Denim. They've had over 74,000 sales. I'd say they are a worthy competitor. And what we're going to do is just grab one of their tank tops right here and take a look at the difference. So here, as you can see, they show the fit of this item quite clearly. the size chart is way more detailed. So instead of just the length and the width, they're actually giving me clear measurements for everything in both metric and standard, and this size chart is super easy to read. They're giving me even further information here in terms of how to measure myself, which is really, really great. And here's the thing, everybody sells something a little different. So measuring can be different depending on who you buy from, and sizing can be different depending on who you buy from. So it's really, really nice if you make it easy for your customers like this. So let's take a look at another seller. They've had 26,000 sales and they've got lots of tanks. As you can see from their picture, you can see immediately what this item looks like on from the first thumbnail. So let's take a look at what they're doing here. As you can see, they have multiple fit pictures, so I can really understand how this item will sit on my body. They also have multiple color photos here showing me what each one looks like, and their colors are super clear to read. It's hyper clear what I'm getting, and I could use this drop down to pick these and match them easily. Their size chart here is slightly less detailed than I would like it to be, and they have yet another picture showing clearly what the fit looks like. So this is a lot more detail than our seller currently has. Whenever you're selling something like this on Etsy and you want people to buy, you need to make it super easy for them. Give them way more information than they could ever need, and they'll really appreciate it. So now that we are done looking at this shop, what did we learn? First, we learned that seasonal items make a big difference for sales, so focusing on seasonal items if your sales are dipping during this time of year is key to making more profit. You need to figure out what's selling this time of year and really focus on it. In her case, that's going to be baby bodysuits, t-shirts, tank tops, potentially maternity. But everything else in her shop is likely to sell during a different season, so it's best to focus on these things that are going to sell during this time of the year. Oftentimes, if you have a shop that's making regular sales, you'll know what sells during the time of the year because you'll notice that you're getting a lot of sales of an item that wasn't selling previously. That's customers sending you a clear signal that they want this sort of thing this time of year, and you need to focus on it. Next, we learned that your inside photos and making it hyper clear what customers are getting really truly matters when it comes to getting a major boost in the number of sales you get. So make sure you're giving customers more information than they could. Make sure there's no ambiguity, they have obvious choices, and they can clearly figure out what they're buying from your listing images alone. At no point did I look at the description here, and I think that's normal for a lot of Etsy buyers. So really make sure your pictures tell the whole story. So that's today's 6-minute makeover. Thanks so much for watching.